What moved you to originally create King Mangoberry?
Well, I was trying to think how best to explain this because it's complex. It has many layers, but the simple way of describing it, Peter, is by saying that it's a story of cultural bridging, cultural dissonance, a cultural awakening. It all started with a visit of my very good friend from New York City, Anthony DeMar, a wonderful pianist. He visited Venezuela to perform my piano concerto. I'm talking about maybe about 20 years ago. And while in Venezuela, uh, he, we went to one of these many fruit stands that it's like they're hot dogs. Instead of hot dog stands, there's fruit stands in Caracas. And he had the audacity to order not a fresh juice made out of mango or passion fruit or bananas or strawberries, but one that would mix strawberries and mango. And believe it or not, that was shocking to the person that was making these. It's almost like nobody ever thought to have the idea of mixing them. So what this made me realize is that, well, on the first hand, the reason why this man was shocked, who was making these drinks, because he thought there was a bad idea to ruin the strawberry that's exotic in Venezuela with such an ordinary fruit as the mango is in Venezuela. Everybody has a mango tree in their backyards. So he didn't understand why somebody wanted to ruin the strawberries. In our case, it's the opposite, right? I mean, if we're in the US, the mango is the exotic and we have strawberries everywhere. So that to me got me thinking, wow, we're raised with these taken for granted. And what's exotic for some is not exotic for others. And in those take it for granted, we lose opportunities, right? Of discovering things because we're just so embedded in our culture. We don't see these things. And it takes somebody coming from a different culture to see those things we don't see. But that's what happened to my friend. He just saw something very simple for him. He wanted to, and suddenly it just opened up a new way of thinking with something so simple. So it began as a joke about my friends. We start saying mangoberry to anything that was culturally awkward or where like a almost like a loss in translation kind of a thing, right?
Kind of an odd couple.
An odd couple, exactly. And one they would talk about how we don't know where we're missing out because of our upbringing and our education.
But I was also amazed that this surprising instrument came to the front of the stage during this piece. The melody of the maraca just blew me away.
Yeah, and I don't. It is true that is a also for some the main story. Because by the way, Manuel Rangel, the maraca player, just won 2 awards in Venezuela. Venezuela has like the Grammys in Venezuela. They're called the Pepsi Awards, and it's given by Pepsi Cola. And these awards have been given already for 8 years. So this is the 8th installment, and he won 2 awards in classical music, meaning. So one as best piece, right? And then one as best classical performer. Now think about it. He won over pianists, cellists, soprano singers, a pair of gourds that have to be shaken in order to produce sounds. So yeah, that is a very big story. That of course it's also part of this story. But I kind of take it for granted because I've lived with that piece for so long, Peter. So that piece I wrote 20 years ago. However, the piece that has been nominated in this album is a new version for wind symphony, right? As opposed for orchestra. So but I've been living with it for so long that I take it for granted. But you're right. That is a major story. The fact that the piece that has been nominated of best classical composition is a concerto for Venezuelan maracas and wind symphony.